Thanks for getting us that view on Tech Mahindra. Before we start off with the stocks that our experts want to suggest, let's address Tech Mahindra as well. And Mr. Fida, I'll come to you on this one. What's your view on here?
Well, I would say I would not buy right now, but I can think of buying on dips, or if people are holding it, then they should continue to hold the stock. Overall, it's in an uptrend. Right now, it is facing a minor resistance at around 845, 860.
Okay.
So once it crosses that 845, 860, then there will be strong momentum in the stock, and then you can expect it to go beyond 1000 also.
Sure.
But important thing is that the stock should continue to sustain above 790-ish and should not break 760, 740 at any cost.
Okay. Amit, how about you?
Yeah, so see, there's no doubt it's in a clear uptrend, but right now it's very closer to its all-time highs.
Right.
Generally, we see that near all-time highs, some retracement does happen.
Sure.
Stock takes a pause and then eventually again builds strength at lower levels and then attempts a fresh breakout,
Right.
So, yes, I would avoid buying it right now. I'd look to buy on dips towards, say, 810, 800 kind of a zone on the downside. I'll keep a stop below, 780. And I'll first target that I'll again look on dips is 840, but that, yes, once it sustains below the fresh all-time highs, as NS Vidai also said, it can easily breach 1,000 rupees on the upside, and that would be probably on a positional basis from a 2 to 3 months perspective.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Well, so there you have it. That's the view coming in from, our house-spotted Tech Mahindra. But now we go across to our experts to, tell us a little more about the stocks that have made their radar. And I'm going to start off with Mr. Fidai on his first chart on Manappuram Finance. Mr. Fidai, why don't you come over and tell us about the observations that you're making here when it comes to Manappuram Finance. That should be on your screen. Yeah, there you have it.
Like we are using this time, Andrew's pitchfork. If you see this, how beautifully the stock respected this, median line of Andrew's pitchfork before it started. This dip, and then right now, if you look at the tops, it is respecting the resistance lines of Andrew's pitchfork.
Right.
So I would say the stock is in a very good, strong uptrend, very strong, momentum play. But it's in a, you can say, upward rising channel kind of formation. So basically, right now it has dipped from the top and it has come to the bottom.
Okay.
And this could be you can say a bounce back or reversal, but I expect the price to come down to around 153, 155 area.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So once it comes to that zone, one should start accumulating this stock.
Okay.
Okay. On the downside, you can keep a stop loss at 148.
All right.
Just below this. Okay.
Correct.
And on the upside, we expect the target to be 195 again, or even much higher, but we'll play with the trend only right now.
All right, okay. So, but you do not recommend getting in right now around 153,
I would say
154.
one should buy on the dips up to 153, 155.
Okay.
Okay, and keep a tight stop loss below 148.
All right, fair enough. Thanks for that, Mr. Fidai. So, there you have it. That's your view on Manappuram Finance. But let's take Amit's view on this one as well. Amit, how are you reading in things?
Yeah, I mean, it's in a clear uptrend. The recent, correction from 195 levels to 160 levels on the downside seems complete. Overall, the broader trend is in an uptrend. Stock is now again trading above its 20 EMA. It's holding on to its gains. My sense is we have already seen the near-term bottom around 160. So I'll place a stop below 160. For the first zone that I expect is the retest of 194.
Okay.
But overall, I do expect the stock to head towards 220, 24 kind of a region on the upside. So it's a buy, basically.
Okay, fine. So it's a buy from Manappuram Finance, and both our experts are suggesting that there's positive bias certainly right now. But let's move on to the second stock then, and that's United Spirits, is what Amit is going to take us through. Amit, what are you observing in United Spirits now?
Sure. So, what we are seeing here is this was the, after this up move, this was a sort of a correction which lasted for a good amount of time. Even the yellow zone that marked here has acted as a sort of a resistance. Now, this was for a period of over a year.
Right.
So, recently, what we have seen here is very, very strong volumes coming back into the stock. See, of course, stocks do require some triggers to move on. to move this possibly this was the result which triggered the move, and the stock has moved beyond its range which was for in a range for last 1 year, with very strong volume. So this indicates the strong momentum coming back into the stock. Also, if you see on a log scale, this low exactly rests around the previous breakout zone of the trend line. So that also is an
Amit, just hang on, because I think we have a problem with the audio, and we should come back to that one. But for now, what Amit is suggesting, a positive, as you can see, there's a volume-led breakout. And of course, we'll continue to get a little more of an update here once we have Amit's audio back in place. Well, for now, of course, we are looking at that move as far as United Spirits is concerned. If I can go across to Mr. Fidai for now, actually we do have the audio back. So all right, so let's get in Amit back for the further explanation. Yes,
yeah.
Amit.
So broadly speaking, this stock has not actually participated. If you even look at last 3-4 years, broadly it has not done much, and it has been broadly sideways even on the monthly charts.
Sure.
But these are early indications that the stock is coming back to its flavor, and I won't be surprised if this could be the stock going ahead, which could trend for next 2 to 3 years. That could be the kind of length of the trend that we can see going ahead.
Right.
So I think it's a very good pick right now. It has just broken out. I would actually go ahead and buy it even right now. For people who are looking for some more safety, can actually look at a little bit of declines towards 675. The first target that I expect on the upside is 790. Overall, I do expect the stock to head to all-time fresh highs, and the second target is 850, which is actually above fresh all-time highs.
Okay, so this is of course the weekly chart that Amit's talking about, and of course this is also the daily chart, I believe, that you want to show something.
So normally I don't rely much on indicators, but ADX is something which I do focus on. The strength of the ADX indicator itself suggests the trend, which is anyway reflected in the price as well. So the strength of the ADX tells you that the stock is in a strong uptrend. This was the result day. If you can see the large candle, with very strong volumes. So a lot of smart money has actually accumulated the stock post results, and a lot of times you see stock, not sustaining the news-based moves, but here that is not the case. We have seen very strong accumulation, and post that we have seen the continuation of the trend, which tells you that the trigger which was there, it still stands true,
right.
And the momentum is further likely to pick up going ahead. So
okay.
It's a very strong pick from my side.
All right, fine, fair enough. Amit, that's a point very well elaborated as well. Positive as far as United Spirits is concerned, but Mr. Fidai, your view on this one?
Well, I agree with Amit. The stock has given a very strong breakout around 580-600 area, and since then it has moved up very sharply. Right now also people who are holding the stock can continue to hold, and if new people want to get into the stock, they should buy between 710-700, and otherwise wait for the breakout above 740. If the stock crosses beyond 740, we expect a target of 800. On the downside, a new trader can buy around 700, 710 and keep a tight stop loss below 790.
Okay.
Sorry, 690, that is.
690, all right, fine. So that's your view coming in, and we're done with the first round of stocks. Let's move on to the next one then. And we have SEAT, which is in focus. That's what Mr. Fidai is going to take us through about the observations that he's making. Mr. Fidai.
Yeah, basically, if you look at this chart, Agam, what's happened, if you see this, it's a horizontal, you can see the resistance line, the yellow dotted line, right? And then we have a very beautiful kind of a channel. The stock took support on the bottoms of the channel and then started rising from there.
Okay.
Most importantly, the rise was very sharp with very good momentum. The candles are big. The volumes are a bit missing, but somehow there is a momentum here, right?
Right.
The stock has not broken below 1,000 even in the current volatile phase of the market just few days back, right? And this is what is prompting me to expect the price to go all the way up to 1140, 1145 on the upside. Okay, and so you can buy this stock right now. You can buy on dips up to 1025.
All right.
And keep a tight stop loss below 1018. And one should book out profits around 1150. And if you look at this whole setup, basically the stock is into it's acting in a bit different way than all other tire stocks.
Right, right.
So this is somewhat you can say an outlier in the sector.
Okay.
So it is very visible that the stock, look at the size of the candles.
All right.
That shows that there is a strong hands holding the stock. They're not allowing the price to go down.
Okay, I believe you have another chart on this one as well. So if we can actually pull that up. And or maybe not. So well, this is your
that's
one year chart. Okay.
Yeah, one chart,
All right. Well, that's your view as far as CH is concerned. Amit, coming down to you, how are you reading into this one?
Yes, I'm positive on. Generally, I'm not very positive on tire stocks, but yes, this one looks promising. After 2 years, the stock is actually closing and sustaining above its 200 EMA. Previously, every occasion the stock has tested the 200 EMA. Again, the correction has started, and it never crossed and sustained below the 200 EMA. This has happened on several occasions in the past. So for past 2 years, it was unable to move beyond its 200 EMA, which it is right now. And it is showing strength, and it's crossing new highs. Yes, the volumes are still not there much. The momentum is not there, but my sense is this is an early stage. We could see the stock heading higher towards the levels of about 1250, 1260 on the upside. So I would look to actually buy the stock. I'll keep a stop below 970. Which is a bit far from here, but I would utilize dips as well to buy. See, the momentum is not very strong, so you might just get some dips, for entries, basically.
Sure.
But the trend remains up, and I do see stock heading towards 1250 zone.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we watch out for that one too. And from there on, let's move on to Amit's next idea, and that's on Walkart, a stock which has seen a lot of volatility, but off late, it's also seen a lot of strength. So let's talk about Walkart then.
Yeah, it has actually already moved up since the recommendation a bit, but that's okay. I guess 5-10 rupees here and there should not bother if you are if the move upside is looking promising. Walkart again, that is also a candidate which has moved beyond its 200 EMA after a very long time. Pharma sector, especially the mid-cap pharma sector, is showing a lot of promise. I've covered a lot of mid-caps like Granules, Ajanta Pharma. They have done fantastically well. I think overall the theme is building up for the mid-cap pharma space. So here, if you see, Walkart has formed a nice base for itself. We have seen, on large candles, fairly large volumes happening, which indicates, strong accumulation. And I would say this is a very initial phase of accumulation. Some strong hands based on volumes and price actions. It definitely seems some strong hands have got into the stock, and the way it is sustaining its move itself tells that these are strong hands. Now, if I can switch to the smaller time frame which I had shared.
Well, I believe that we don't have that.
Okay, never mind. But so, if you see it on the smaller time frame, this was a sort of a flag breakout which has happened here. This decline post that is the retest of that flag. And again, it has retested, the 200 EMA. And today again, the activity is quite strong. My sense is the correction from 400 plus levels to 320 or something has already been done, and the up move is likely to resume from here. I think it's a very good entry point, though the stock is 5-6% up at the moment, but that still is a very good entry point in an overall uptrend that we expect to unfold. The target that I expect on the upside is 408. and the next target that I expect is 440, and probably this should happen in a not too long period. Probably it could happen over a month or two.
Okay.
So from current market price, these are very decent returns.
Sure. Fair enough. Thanks, Amit,
Thank
for
you.
that there. So, of course, we're looking at a near-term target of 404, and eventually at 440, things should go well for Wockhardt, which has already seen substantial accumulation as far as volumes go. But Mr. Fidai, your view on Wockhardt?
Yeah, basically, the stock is very volatile, one of the most volatile stocks, so one needs to trade very carefully here. Right now I see it is in a congestion and needs to cross beyond 365 to actually go up, and achieve the target of, Amit of 400 and even 420 is possible in extreme short term. But if it doesn't cross, then one should buy this on dips between 325 and 300 and keep a tight stop loss below 290. And the target would be same 420, and once it crosses 420, you can expect 600 also.
Okay, fair enough. So, well, there you have it. Bullish view on Wockhardt, and from there on we move on to our final round of stocks, and we have Mr. Fidai, who is giving us a view on Shriram Transport Finance. Let's bring that chart up and see how things are shaping up here.
Agam, we have tried to see that the simplest technical tools can also work beautifully.
Right.
So basically here, if you look at this chart, this is the horizontal line which is acting as a very strong resistance. This stock has faced resistance at 1300. Now again, like SIAT, this stock has jumped up very strongly in this zone.
Right.
And look at the volumes. The volumes are exponentially good, and there seems to be very good momentum in this stock.
Correct.
Right now it is facing a bit of weather here because of the resistance. My view is for a positional call here.
Right.
So we don't buy it at this level unless it crosses 1320, 1330. Otherwise we buy on dips.
All right.
Okay,
right.
so above 1320, 1330, it would take care of all this resistance, and it could jump up very strongly after that.
Right.
So the momentum will happen above that. But on the dips, one should buy around 1210, 1220.
Okay.
And keep a stop loss at 1180.
All right. Okay.
On the upside, what we see as the target is 1500, 1600, and even 1700. So positionally, very strong pattern. Looks like very strong. We will have a if it dips to this areas, then we'll have a cup and handle kind of formation in the place.
Right.
And once it breaks out again next time beyond 1300,
Sure.
1320, then we can expect those kind of targets. But one should be patient, buy on dips, and avoid going right now, buying right now.
Okay.
So that is my view, right?
All right, so it's a buy on dips from Shriram Transport Finance. That's what Mr. Fidai is telling us right now. But coming down to you, Amit, your view here?
Yeah. So recently the stock had done a very, very volatile two-way movements. On one occasion the stock had actually broken out very strongly, and that move failed on the upside. Probably that was when the IndusInd results came, and probably this also was in anticipation falling. That was on the day of the breakout, I correctly remember. Then we saw a down move happening. That also failed on the downside. And from there the stock has recovered very, very sharply, just like a V-shaped recovery.
Right.
And right now it is just meandering towards that 1300 kind of a zone where it has been historically finding some resistance. But my sense is eventually the stock has found its true direction. Once it sustains above this 1300 kind of a zone, my sense is it's heading towards a fresh testing of fresh all-time highs of around 1650, 1660 kind of a zone. So beyond 1300, I would actually look to buy the stock. I'll keep a stop below 1240, and I'll expect the stock to head towards 1650 kind of a region on the upside.
Okay, well, we watch out for that one. And from there on, let's move on to, Amit's final stock. And we have Amara Raja Batteries, which is in focus. Let's pull that chart up as well and see what holds in store.
If you can switch to the monthly picture first, or...
Yeah, I think if we can switch to from the daily to the monthly, if it's a possibility, if our, Okay, I'm not sure
Never
that
mind.
is going to be
Fine. So, on a monthly scale, what we have seen here is this, something similar with a similar logic and similar pattern that I shared was granules. What granules did was it failed on the downside after breaking down.
Right.
Now, when something fails on either side, in this case on the downside, it actually generally tends to rebound very strongly on the opposite direction, which is happened and which is about to happen for Amara Raja batteries as well. Amara Raja batteries on the monthly scale, after breaking down, it has failed to achieve its objective on the downside. And since then, if we switch to the smaller time frame, what we are seeing here is a gradual recovery coming in. The stock is moving into this upward channel. Every time the stock moves towards the lower end of the channel, it has been finding support on several occasions, if you see here. So right now, it is at a very low risk point. One can expect decent returns going ahead from here. This is a good zone to buy the stock. Yes, there is not much of a momentum. This is more of a positional play. Don't expect the stock to just rally. It lacks momentum as of now, but there's good amount of safety there at this point of time. So I would recommend people having some patience to actually buy the stock. Hold on. I think decent returns are lying ahead.
All right,
So,
fair enough.
one second.
All right. So, well, of course, Amit will give us some sort of levels and views here. Yes.
Yeah, so I'll keep a stop below 727 for this one. The first target that I expect is 900, and eventually I do expect stock to head towards 970 on the upside, which is again decent returns in terms of percentage from here.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Thanks for that,
Thank you.
Amit. So that's Amara Raja batteries for you. Of course, it has advanced, as you can see in the chart there. Mr. Fidai, you have you here?
Yeah, it's a beautiful choice by Amit. Actually, it's the stock is making higher tops, higher bottoms on consistently, like since last few months. One should buy the stock at this moment, and I would say, have a system where you buy in 3 tranches rather than single tranche. Buy at current price, buy on dips to 755,
okay,
and buy above 820, 830. These are the 3 tranches you should keep, and we expect the target to be 900, and once it crosses beyond 920ish, then you can expect it to go all the way up to 1050 also.
Okay.
Overall, stock is even on monthly chart,
right,
it's like it is trying to cross above a falling channel.
Right.
So it needs to go beyond 820, 825 on the upside. Once it does that, it will gain very good momentum, and the stock will zoom up like so you can see like a rocket, probably.
All right. Okay. Well, there you have it. That's your view coming in on a whole bunch of stocks that our experts decided to speak about. But let's conclude the session by getting in Yash back in to talk about Praj Industries. So, Yash, what are you spotting here?
Agam, at the current juncture, the Praj Industries looks set for a big up move, and the risk to reward ratio is also looking extremely favorable for someone who wants to go long. Now, take a look at the price chart, and this is over the weekly time frame. The yellow line is where it has every time reached and had a strong support before giving a bounce. So this is around the mark of 101 to 99, and we've seen while on a weekly basis the prices may have fluctuated, and even going below that mark, it has always closed above it, that trend line, and has given a big enough bounce, in fact going from the levels of almost 100 to 120 multiple times over the last several occasions. But while the price is at that mark, we've seen the RSI steadily going up. So we've seen a hidden divergence from the RSI. While the prices have remained in this band, the RSI has been slowly making higher lows, which is an indication of the momentum picking up. And at the current level, as you could see, the risk to reward ratio is also favorable, keeping a strict stop loss. I'll obviously leave that to our guests, but the charts at the moment indicate that we are slowly and steadily seeing a gathering of the momentum, and one could look to go long in Praj Industries.
Well, thanks so much for that, Yash. Of course, we watch out for Praj Industries, but we might as well take a view from our experts today. Amit, I'll come to you first on Praj, your view here.
Yeah, so see, the stock had, attempted a breakout of about 125 somewhere in March of 2019. Now, that was a big range, almost like a decade of, almost a decade of range which the stock had broken out of.
Yeah.
Now that implies something really, really big for the prices going ahead.
Sure.
Post then we have seen, that move of faltering. And stock correcting a bit in the short term. But my sense is that attempt to break out about that almost a decade of price move has not yet gone.
Right.
We have seen some retracement of that move, but once the stock moves beyond 113, 114, that will be a short-term entry point. But once it moves below, above 130 again, I do see the stock to actually test levels of about 200 and even above.
Okay.
So that's a significant move going ahead.
Sure.
I think Praj would be probably a very good mover going ahead. Once above 130, it will gain tremendous momentum, I would say. And this stock can actually even test its all-time highs as well going ahead.
Right.
Overall, I do expect even the mid and small caps to do very well going ahead. So continue to remain positive. In the near term, from a trading perspective, above 113, I'll take an entry. Keep a stop below 101, and I'll expect the stock to head towards 130 and 150 from a trading perspective. But 200 should be a positional target.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Mr. Fidai?
Well, the stock is actually like, I had covered it long time back and then it failed. Like Amit had pointed out, it had gone up very strongly. It did its short-term target but couldn't achieve the longer-term targets. And right now it is in a consolidation zone. The way it is consolidating between 95 and 125. So this area is a very good low-risk area where one can buy between 100 and, maybe 95. In the lower side. If it comes, like if it doesn't, then one should watch out for a momentum above, you can say 115, 110.
Yeah.
Okay, once it crosses 115, 110, then 130 is given target. It can happen in a just jiffy. Once we cross 130, 135, then we have 160 first, and then we can have much higher targets like beyond 200 also.
All right. Okay, fair enough. Well, we have reached the end of this show, and so I am going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Mr. Fidai and Amit, for joining us and taking us through a whole host of stocks that we can look at with respect to trading as well as investing purposes. But on that note, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Ask BQ is up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint, and we'll keep bringing you more.